be having a special speaker. So that's Mr. Yemi. And today he will talk to us about developing the mindset of business intelligence analyst. So Mr. Yemi is going to talk to us about how to get insight from your data, how to develop the mindset to become a business analyst. So, all right, so Mr. Yemi, I guess we got.
All right, hello everyone. I'll just share my screen, please. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So let me try and one slideshow. Okay, so my name is Yemi Akinwande. So I'm very happy to be in your midst. I'll be speaking on this topic. So from data to insights to impacting business performance, developing the mind of a business intelligence analyst. So I hope as we go along, the rationale for why this topic is very key to key to my heart, I think will come across. And while I feel it should be important also to all aspiring data analysts and business intelligence analysts as well. Okay, so I like to start by a little survey here. So where are you? So just to get a feel of my audience, and then I'll talk a little bit more about myself. So if you can put one of these letters in the chat. So are you aspiring to get into the data analyst role? Are you newly into the role and you kind of want to find how you can grow your role? Or are you experienced as a data analyst? So A, B, or C. So I guess if I or one of my other friends in this group, you're checking the chat. So okay, just let me know what's coming up.
So we have A's, we have B's, we have C's.
Okay.
Everybody's mostly A and B.
Most people are A and B. That's great. Okay, so I'm in a good place. So if there are more C's, then maybe I'll shut up and learn.
So no, well, this one.
Okay, so in terms of my own journey, so I'm somebody that's transitioned into the data analyst role or business intelligence analyst role. So my background is engineering. So my degree is in engineering. I've worked as an engineer, and then I've worked for several years, about 17 years as a lecturer in engineering. And then I felt I've always had the desire to, I always loved data, probably because my degree is actually in electrical engineering. So did a bit of coding there back in the day. I've always loved data. So even in my lecturing role, because I was like a course team leader, I was a curriculum coordinator, I had to monitor the journey of my students from recruitment to achievement. So on my own, I learned Tableau. I was doing a lot of Excel. I was doing my visualizations when I have to present my reports to my bosses. But then I thought, I've done this enough. I've been there, done this. I really want to become a data analyst. So I went through a transition period, and today my job title is a business data analyst. So I know there'll be opportunity for questions if you want to drill deeper into how to make transitions like that, because I'm a living proof that it is possible to make a transition. So if you're aspiring, or if you're new into, if you're still aspiring to get into it, just know that it is possible. Okay, so developing the mindset of a business intelligence analyst. First and foremost, you need to think like a business. You have to think like a business. Now, I need to say here that there are a lot of different job titles out there. I've seen quite a few. So there's data analyst, there's business intelligence analyst, there's business data analyst, there's performance analyst, there's marketing data analyst, there's insight analyst. Don't be carried away by the title. You know, different companies call their stuff different things, but there's a common thread that goes through it. And that's why my key advice would be think like a business, because businesses, they employ analysts for their own purposes. So you need to key into that. There's a purpose why that role was created. Or if you're taking over the role from somebody else, there's a purpose why the role has been there. So you really need to begin to think like them. So when you say think like a business, you need to understand the business goals. What are the business goals? So very quickly, key into the business goals. What are their goals? So businesses, for instance, their goal might be, we need more customers, we need more profit, we want less customer complaints, and various things. They have goals that they want, places they want to get to. So you need to understand their business goals. I need to be the type of person that can help them get there. Also, you need to understand the business problems. Excuse me. So a business will have goals, but they also have problems. And you need to understand the business problems. So where can you help? What is the data saying about where the problem areas are and where you can help? And then you need to know your end stakeholders and the reporting requirement. I said end stakeholders, and I did that deliberately because, for instance, you may be in a team, you might be employed in a team, you might have a manager over you, your manager wants reports, but think beyond your manager. Your manager also has a stakeholder. So your manager could be the director could be the CEO. After the CEO, she's looking at the board. They might have a company board, and they might have, so it's the end stakeholder you really need to be thinking about. And because that's the person that's the end of the line, basically. So you need to know your end stakeholders and what are the reporting requirements. So for instance, in my job, my director, I will report to my director, which I did on Friday, but I had to report to her because she is developing a report. She has a monthly report also. So this was a month-end thing. We do it every month-end. But it's not just what does she want, it's also knowing that she has to report to the ministry. And she was actually writing a report to the ministry, and she wanted to understand the data. So me having this meeting with her was helping her understand the data, because she has to go and present that data somewhere else. So we need to understand that as a business intelligence analyst, you want to become a solution provider. So you want to use your understanding of the business problems to help them achieve the goals. So for instance, a business problem could be, we're getting a lot of, if it's a factory, we're getting a lot of defects in our product. If it's a store, we have a lot of returns, or we have a lot of there's a low volume on this product. It's not moving. So you need to help them. You need to use your understanding of the business problems to help them achieve the business goals. So along these lines, you have data requests. So for instance, in an analyst role, you might get a data request. So data requests would be somebody asking you for reports. So this could be monthly, it could be scheduled, it could be ad hoc. So the CEO might just have this meeting with a stakeholder, external stakeholder. She needs a report to prepare her, or a report to present. So that could be just ad hoc, it could be something that is done monthly. So the thing about data requests is that they're commissioned. So somebody says, could you please produce a report on this for me? You go on the premise that they know what they want, but sometimes they don't know what they want. And when you start your role, you might just give them what they want. We need a report on this, sales by region. You just give it to them. But you want to grow your role to the point where you begin to advise them. I say, is that really what you need for this? So you understand what they need to do, and you kind of advise them, is this really what you need? And that's where you begin to know that your role is growing. When you get into that advisory role and you become the data expert, and rather than them come to you and just press a button and say, give this to us, they want that dialogue with you. You know, they want they want you to tell them, is this really, is there anything better we can do instead of this? When you know you're growing your role, when you become the backstop, when everyone, different people are pressing buttons, give us this report, this, and it gets to a point where they kind of expect you not to respond, and they want you to be a kind of backstop to say, should we really be doing this? Should we really be sending this report to our stakeholder? Would we be exposing ourselves? That's when you know you're beginning to get into a higher level. Your job title might not have changed at that point, but you know that your role is growing. And with data requests, what you're doing is data analysis. So you're just crunching numbers, analyzing data, producing graphs, giving them what they've asked for. But there is a level that is above this. And this is my opinion. Everything I'm saying is my opinion, but it's an opinion, it's an informed opinion from a job. Investigative reports are not commissioned. So there are things, it's where you now are doing your investigation on the data. And you're saying, what does the data have to tell us? What are the trends in here? What's buried inside this data? So this is exploratory. And then you uncover insights hidden in the data. And this is what we call the business intelligence. So as opposed to just analyzing, this is where you're now trying to get intelligence from your research that will help the business. So you have to also be careful at this point, because you don't want to, it's very easy, because we love data, we're data geeks, aren't we? So you just want, we have to be careful so that you're not just going on this scientific rush, you know, you're just going on this academic kind of thing. You always have to think about the business. So what's important to the business, and you go for the intelligence that's important to the business. Now, in a role, you might start off on data request. You might begin a lot of data requests, because it depends. Maybe if the role is quite junior, and if it's your first role, they're telling you what to do. But you know you're beginning to grow your role when you change whatever the title is, you're changing it into a business intelligence role. Because one of my friends said something which kind of rings true. Said, the closer you are to the heart of the business, the more you're valued and the more you get paid. Because we're having a conversation about, business analysts, and do they get paid more than data analysts? And that's what his view was. That, yeah, business analysts will get paid more. They get paid because they're seen as closer to the heart of the business, the core business function. While a data analyst sometimes is seen as like a service, a service department. And sometimes people don't really understand what you do. So it all depends on how data driven the company is. But if it isn't very keyed about its data, it could be they could just see, yeah, you're just the person on that office in that computer. We don't really know what he does, but he just produces pretty charts, and they look nice with a lot of colors, but they're not like, these managers and these operations people over here. So what you do is that when you start off in a role, even if it's a kind of role where they just want you to do all this data analysis, number crunching, if you begin to get into business intelligence, what you find is that, what you might find in most cases is that people will begin to free you up because they're seeing the value of what you're doing, and they'll free you up for that business intelligence. So they begin to understand the value from the results that you're producing, and I feel it's better because you got more freedom. You got more freedom because you're just exploring, as opposed to, you just have a deadline to produce this report. But as you look at the spectrum of it, so as you go, you can see, this is my opinion, you're going up, but it's not really at the top. So you say, is there anything above this? Yeah, I mean, what's above this? Well, for me, I would say it's data-driven advice. If you can begin to get into a position where you're beginning to give data-driven advice, where you begin to say the data says this, and you're advising the business on the decisions they need to take, then that is a more valued place to be. And here you need a solid understanding of the business, and you need a solid understanding of the data. So both need to go together. Are there any questions at this point?
Oh,
So there are no questions.
No questions. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if you're able to see the screen while you are presenting, but there was something you said. When you said it, I immediately went to indicate that, yes, I've experienced what you've said. So when you are explaining, data analyst almost being seen as a service where, everybody just keeps passing requests, I need this, I need that, and giving you deadline versus the one where you are being more on the business intelligence side and it's been more strategic. I can relate very much with it, and I was like, this is, if something one can frame and we can create a quote around it and share it on Monday as our word for the week. We'll try and do that because it's a lot of wisdom bundled in it down until one experiences. My question is, how can one transition? Because sometimes it's very difficult. If I've always been in a role where my work is to do daily report, weekly reports, and I'm even struggling to meet up with all the requests because as the business volume is growing, I'm getting tied up in those normal recurrent reports. Then how can I transition to this other high value role?
Okay. So very good question. Now, I'm going to say one of the slides following. I'm trying to think what advice can I give to people because I've been there. I just want to help people that help this community and move everyone forward. Now, what I've found from experience is that sometimes if it's a first data role, sometimes you just want to get your foot in the door. So sometimes you may even take a pay cut just to cross from one line into another, just to get, because sometimes you need to be in the company to show what you're worth. Sometimes when you're outside the company, yeah, you can talk a lot at the interview, but there's still that doubt. But sometimes you just have to be in to show that you're fantastic. So if for instance, if a person is employed and they actually know what they want, they say we just need monthly reports, we need daily reports, we need someone that's going to be here. Then the moment you begin to work with the data, even from those daily reports, the thing as a data analyst, because we're not machines, we're not just, when you're working on that data for the reports, you will uncover something that they didn't know was there. So they're not asking for it, but you begin to say, well, there's actually a trend, there's an anomaly here. And then after you've submitted the report, then you now begin to dig into that anomaly or to that trend to get some more about it, and to see, you do some hypothesis testing to see, is it real or was I just imagining? Is it a fluke? Is it important to the business? And then separately, you now find the time to report that to your boss, and they begin to take it. And this is something I've tried on my role, and it actually worked. It works. So when I got into my current role, it doesn't have business intelligence in the name, but I made it business intelligence because I knew what business intelligence was about. So, and this is exactly what I did. So from, do this is what we expect you to do, to kind of do reports to say, all the rejections you're getting on the products you're offering or the services you're offering, there's a trend here, and they began to become very interested in that. So, and it's something that it's now a phrase within the company, business intelligence. In fact, they've created a SharePoint site, business intelligence. All the business intelligence stuff has to go on here. So it's growing the role because, as I said, sometimes companies don't really know what they need. They know what they want, but they don't know what they need. And if you can, do the job they want you to do, but if you have access to the data, sometimes you might have to work late to do it. It might be after office hours, but you're still logged onto the system. So you do what you're meant to do in the 9 to 5, And then sometimes it's walking over lunch breaks. Sometimes it's, you know, spending an extra hour in the office just to get that extra bit, because sometimes you have to taste it to know that it is sweet. So am I making sense, please?
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So, okay, how to develop the mindset of a business intelligence analyst. So I've got a few tips here. One is what I call the so what approach. So whenever we're preparing our visualizations, now imagine yourself presenting your work to important stakeholders. It could be the chief executive officer, there could be the director. And the truth is they don't really care about pretty graphs. That's the truth. They don't care about all these fancy pie chart, you know, the Sankey. They don't care about all these things. And they're sitting there and they're watching this. And this is a very busy person that's got meetings back to back. And they're saying, so what? So when I'm preparing and when we are preparing, always have that picture in your mind and ask yourself that question. Okay, this is a pie chart. This is a bar chart. So what? So, and answer that question and then ask it again. Keep on drilling down. Ask it about 4 or 5 times. So, for instance, I've got a few examples here. So we had 200 new customers in July. So what? So if that's what we're reporting, yeah, we have 200 new customers in July. So what? Because that in itself is not nothing. It's nothing. So you need to add something onto that. So what? So what? Why should I be worried about that? Or why should I be happy about that? We've got 200 new customers. We saw 1,000 widgets year to date. So what? We have 500 visitors to our website last month. So what? So here, how can we use the so what technique to make these statements better? So this is a discussion now. So let's take a break. Let's discuss about this. So how can you take one of these statements or something like it and then ask yourself so what, and create a fictional, something fictional, but that will make it relevant to a business stakeholder?
So maybe you should find out why you have 20 new customers in July. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so, okay, so if this is my statement, so I've done my graph, or I've done my bar chart. My bar chart shows me that we had 200 new customers in July. So, and I know that I can't present that because it's like bland. It's like bland. So this is business intelligence now. So you're trying to add value onto this as a business intelligence analyst. Okay.
So you'll find out maybe what you did different in July attributed to the 200 new customers.
Yeah.
Or maybe what marketing plan or what ad is it honoring from or something.
Yeah, that could be it.
Oh.
Yeah. So does anyone else want to have a go?
Yes, if I may.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. It's very. Oh, I don't know if someone is speaking. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So it's very interesting that you have this SWOT approach up, because I just learned about the 7 SWOT approach this weekend. And it's very interesting that it has brought me to data. And I understand that from this example, we could drill down on giving the company or the stakeholders more value on the information. For example, we had 200 new customers in July. So what? This happened because we just launched a new campaign on our website. Oh, so what? This was because sales were down in June. So what? At that time, we did not have the campaign. on the website. So what? It just keeps going down and down and down until it gets to, a more valuable information that is more important to the company than just the first data that you just came across.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't get your name. I'm totally blind on it. I can't see anything on this screen because I don't want to.
My name is Andrew.
Oh, hello, Andrew. So, yeah, so please, when we talk, I can't see you, and I don't want to bring up the chat because I think we're recording this. So that is fantastic. So it's drilling down in levels, because I worked with very early on, when I was on the train, I worked with a very fantastic business intelligence analyst, and I learned a lot from him. He said things like, he said, look, don't let your stakeholders think. They don't want to think. They don't want to come down and be, their brain is hurting them because they're trying to understand your numbers or your graph. So just make it explicit. It's just there. It's just open for them. And then when you're narrating it, when you're his approach was, I know there are two different approaches I've seen. When he's doing his stuff in Excel or Power BI, he always says, put a narrative. Put a narrative, particularly if you're not presenting it, put a narrative there. And I've also seen people that will say, no, let it be clean graphs, don't put any narrative on, just your clean graph. So whichever way, but even if whether you put a narrative or not, you need to have that narrative. So it's being able to tell them without them having to figure it out themselves because they don't really want to. But also you could say we have 200 new customers in July. Now this might be possible. It might be possible to say something like this. So what does 200 new customers relate to? Is it a big number? Is it a small number? So there must be a comparison, year-to-date comparison, or monthly average comparison, or what does it even relate to in terms of revenue? So we had 200 new customers, yeah. Okay, how much did they spend? What percentage of is that according to our target? So it's things like this. So, and it takes practice. It's not something that, the reason why I think this is good for aspiring data analysts is because these are the things that I would recommend that you begin to practice before you get the job and not on the job. If you're already on the job, begin to practice it, but it will be brilliant before you get the job, you begin to practice it. So you might say, well, how can I practice it when I haven't got a job, I haven't got company data? Get public data, and begin to practice this on them. So whenever you are entering any of these competitions on LinkedIn, or whenever you are just doing your own stuff, you grab data from any source and you're just analyzing it, begin to ask yourself that question on it, and then it'll become a second nature for you. So very important. Now, another thing is, this is another technique now. So the so what technique, this is another technique that has helped. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Very things. They're all but biblical. Knowledge, understanding, wisdom. You see 3 of them in the Bible. So how do you apply this to your business intelligence? Now, imagine your narrative. So always try, particularly when you're starting off, try to have a narrative. So it's either you put it on your charts, you put it in the notes, you put it there, but always, because it will help as you begin to grow. You might not need the narrative. It's there in your notes, it's there in your mind, and you just say it when you're presenting it. But it's good to have a structure when you're starting off. And one structure that I find helps is knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. So knowledge is describing what has happened. So you're looking at the data, what has happened. You're just stating the obvious, what has happened in the data. For instance, we had 500 visitors to our website last month. That's it. It's a summary. So that's a step beyond just giving them the graph and say, okay, work out what last month was. So this is better. So this is knowledge of stating the obvious. They describe what has happened. Now, understanding is a step you add on to that. So you demonstrate an understanding of the business and the data. So that 500 visitors, what you need to put some context around it, and you need an understanding of the business and the data. Now, understanding the business doesn't come on day one, but if you've been practicing on various data sets, you've got data sets from, Instagram, you got data sets from, public, maybe WHO, you got the data sets from Adventure Work, different types of data. You will be kind of on a good footing to start. And then when you get into a new business, you just learn that business, but you come in with something. So how do you improve this statement? So it's something like this. So we had 500 visitors to our website last month. Based on the monthly average this year, we're expecting 300 visitors. The 200 extra visitors came from the first 2 days of the month when the marketing department sent out emails with vouchers to lapsed customers. So that is you demonstrate and understand, and it's very important because it's you being able to demonstrate your value, particularly if you're new, to show that yeah, I'm actually good. I know my stuff. So I know your business. I know the data. If you know the data without knowing the business, it's not good, because they're going to say any recommendation you're giving, you don't really understand our business. You're just talking a lot of theory here. And if you understand the business without understanding the data, it's not good also. Now, the creme de la creme on the top is wisdom. What should we do? So you've told us all this thing. Companies actually, they want you to get into that advisory role. They might not know it at the beginning, but as you grow your role, they begin to rely on you more and more. What should we do? So it's something like this. The data shows that 75% of this segment of visitors try to spend their vouchers on grocery items, and 50% of these bounced off the website within 10 seconds of arrival. I recommend an A/B test with a new landing page with the most popular grocery items located at the top of the page. They might take it, they might not take it, but that's it. You know so much about your data, you know so much about the business that you're able to advise the business. At the end of the day, it's not you being a consultant, it's the data advising the business. Businesses need to be data driven. Now they're collecting all these massive amounts of data. What's the point? The business needs to be driven and advised by the data. And that's what more and more companies that are smart, they're beginning to do that more and more. Google started off as a search engine, giving people free search engines. Now they're getting into all kinds of ventures. But you might wonder, how were they making a profit? How did they become this massive, wealthy company? By just data, gathering data, and then analyzing data, people's data of search patterns and everything. And that is there's so much wealth in that. So our companies are beginning to key into the fact that the data has a voice, which is kind of silent. They need the business intelligence analyst or the data analyst to give their data a voice, and the data itself will tell them what they need to do. So that's the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom kind of thing. One thing that comes to my mind is the story of Joseph in the Bible. And you have Joseph, Pharaoh calls him and says, hey, I had a dream. Nobody can interpret this dream. And this young man ended up interpreting the dream. He said, well, you saw 7 cows, 7 fat cows, 7 thin cows. The 7 fat cows were 7 years, 7 thin cows for 7 years. It just means that you're going to have 7 good years followed by 7 bad years. You could have stopped there. What's that? Knowledge, understanding. But what really clinched it for this young man? Without even stopping, he just went on and said, let me counsel you, Pharaoh. Pharaoh did it. That was not his commission. He said, let me counsel you. Appoint somebody to just gather all the excess during these 7 good years and store them, and during the 7 bad years, ration them out. And then Pharaoh says, can we find any other person like this young man in the whole of the land? Please give him the job. He got himself a job just because he took it that extra mile. He got himself a job. I know there might be companies out there that are like that. They're looking for people that will take them on to the next level. everybody they've got can't really get the sense of that data. If they find a young person that can do it, they'll give them the job. Oh, how do you grow your role? You're already into the role. How do you grow it? A few tips. What I've said is combine text savviness with business savviness, regardless of your job title. Regardless of, even if you are not employed as a data analyst, if you just took a foot in the door, you just wanted a foot in the door, maybe it's even a junior role, maybe it's data entry, maybe you're just in the company and you're just in the data, and just begin to combine your tech savviness with business savviness. My observation, my hypothesis is that a lot of us that want to get into the data role, we focus on the tech savviness. What are we doing? We're learning new tools. We're doing advanced Excel, and we're doing Power BI, we're doing Tableau, and we're doing Python, and we're just jumping from one course and one certification to the next. And we have this long portfolio of courses. But you know what is missing, friends, is business savviness. So as you're getting your tech savviness, get your business savviness. So that's it. You're in the company. You don't want to be that person that is just in an office somewhere crunching out numbers on a computer or on a calculator. Try and understand the business. Go and talk to the guys who are in operations. Befriend them. Understand what they do. Understand what their pain points are, and then look into the data. So both go together. Then become a data whisperer. Yeah, you need to become a data whisperer, which means the data speaks to you like it doesn't speak to anyone else. You can tune your ear and you can hear that silent voice of the data that no one else can see. Because if everyone can see, why would they need you? So you're not making stuff up. It's there, but nobody is seeing it because they're not data whisperers. But you become the data whisperer in the company. And they begin to know you like that. They even begin to call you data whisperer. Become an advisor to your directors on all things data. So they're getting paid 3 times as much as you are, but they call you to advise them on data, not the other way around. You know so much about the business, you know so much about the data that you become an advisor. Now, how do you start? You're going to start knowing more about the data because that's your specialty. But as you go along, you're not going to become, a marketing manager or sales manager or whatever, but you're going to know enough about the business operation that the data makes more sense to you. And this is where you're growing your role, when they're calling you to advise them, and just, they're writing a report and they just say, I want to bounce it off you. I just want, they're doing it and you might not even say anything. They're just, speaking aloud and bouncing things off you. That is a good place to be. And become a solution provider for the business, like I've described with the story of Joseph. And then if working in a large team, develop a reputation for being the Excel guy or the Power BI girl. Let there be something that you're good at. Have your own niche. Once again, permit me to say, the danger is, when you do all these courses, the courses are fantastic, but the problem is if you're doing the course and you never practice, the thing about data, you must practice, as all of us know. You do this, you learn all this Excel, and then you're just jumping from Excel to Power BI to this one to Tableau. You heard that there's now you're just, instead of that, you can't know everything. That's the truth, because there's so many and they're bringing out new ones. So know your stuff enough. I won't say be an expert. I'm not an expert because I consider very few people to be experts. The people that are experts are the people that teach the people that I learn from. Those are the experts. These are the people that, they develop features in Power BI. They develop new tools in Excel. Those are the people that I consider. I'm not on their league at all, but I know enough, to do my stuff. And the stuff that I don't know, I'm happy. I'm happily don't know it. And if I go for an interview and they say, do you know this? I don't know it, but I do know this other one. And if you're not going to give me the job, fine. It's fine. But I know what I know. Okay, so how do you get your first role as a data analyst? So just a bit of advice. Get data, practice, repeat. That's it. Get data, practice, repeat. Get data, practice, repeat. Develop your skills, develop your narrative, and that's it. Develop a portfolio and then make it visible. So a portfolio of projects that you've done, a portfolio of visualizations, and make it visible. LinkedIn is a great place to be. You can have your own website if you want, but let them begin to see how you're able to get insights from data. Become active in the data community, as a lot of people are. And then network and learn from others. Develop an expertise in a range of tools. So I say expertise loosely, but know your stuff. Don't be jack of all trades or master of none. Don't let it be that, oh, you know Excel, but you only know it to beginner stroke intermediate. You know Power BI, but you don't know about a lot of DAX makes you cry. And then you say, what is Python? I'm not even going anywhere near Python because it's a snake. And you know a lot. You put all these things on your CV, but you see, when you know something very well, it gives you a lot of confidence. So have your tool, this is mine, and you can say anything, but I can find my way around this one. I can use it. And develop your business savviness. Develop the art of narrative. So you can use the so what, you can use the knowledge, understanding, wisdom, and other techniques. Business savviness, like I said, be close to the subject matter expert. So develop your business savviness. There are courses for instance, if you're like me, I was never business savvy, but I had to learn it because my background has always been science and engineering. Never done anything commercial, didn't like it, but I had to learn it. And I have a friend who, his degree is in economics, and he's an aspiring data analyst. I'm saying, look, you're in a fantastic place to be, because I'm seeing adverts that are saying a background in economics or statistics. And I said to him, because I'm kind of mentoring him, and I said, look, whenever I hear you speak, whenever I talk about data, and whenever I give you an assignment to do or whatever, I want to hear the economist in you speak. So everyone is unique. Mix that economist in you with the data analyst in you, and you'll be a unique combination that'll be hard to find somebody like you. And the same thing, if your background is engineering, we're all unique in what we bring. So what we present has to be a mix. But if you develop your business savviness, if you haven't got it, and learn it. And for me, what I do, if you want this, there's the things you can do. For instance, Google has a free course on fundamentals of the digital marketing. That will cover a lot of bases for you. Free course with certificate. Google has Google Analytics, beginners and advanced for you. So these are some of the things that helps people feel they've helped me. Then develop your skills in data storytelling. It's very important. So once you've done your data mining and once you've done your visualizations, you now need to say, how do I present this story to people? How do I use colors, strategically? When you see a rookie data analyst, because, color, it's almost like the competition is to use as many colors as you can find in the palette. But I have the luxury, I have the benefit of having friends who have been in this field long before me. And one of them told me something. He said, these are people that they work in the industry, they earn probably like £500 a day just doing their stuff. He said something to me. He said, you know what? That what they value in industry is not, if you can do a monochrome, fantastic. Just one color differentiate. If you can, if you put some of it, you just use color to highlight strategically. You use color sparingly. You arrange it in such a way that it's easy to take in. The story comes out, it pops up. And while waiting, consider getting some professional certifications and get work experience if you can. I believe we need more work experience platforms, but there are a few. But I think we need more of them that just real workplaces that will just bring people in. They might have to pay, but gives them that training and also the story that they can go and tell at interviews. And you might consider smaller roles to get your foot in the door and then grow from there and remain positive. It's tough. It's tough. But you know what? When you feel frustrated, let your frustration drive you to do more analysis. So, when you're frustrated, wake up in the middle of the night and just, like a crazy person, just begin to do your visualizations. Let your frustration drive you to a better place. Because it is tough, but it is possible. So, that's it. So thanks for listening. Do you have any questions? Now, let's discuss. Are there any questions, please? Is there anything you want me to talk more about?
Wow.
Yeah, so Evis has a question. So Evis, you can speak, just unmute.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
It was a very interesting class. Thank you for that. My question has to do with the last part you spoke about, where we need to get data and try to work out things, and just to get better. So I would like to know: is there any source where we can maybe get these random data and try to perfect ourselves?
Okay, it's not one source; it's a variety. On Google, if you type in free data sets, if you are more specific, if you say data sets on public health, a lot of government organizations, they public free data. So in the US, in the UK, the World Health Organization, you might get data from them. You might get census data from US, from UK. It's just there on Google. If you go into Kaggle, even though Kaggle is more data science, but you can get data sets there. But it's not just one data set. So that's why there's not just one place I can direct you to. What I would advise is that practice on a variety. If you go online, for instance, you've got AdventureWorks, which is AdventureWorks is Microsoft, is it? AdventureWorks, which is like AdventureWorks. There's AdventureWorks. There's a Superstore data, and these are quite big data sets that you can use to practice your SQL, your Excel, your Power BI. So there's all there, but start from somewhere. Don't get overwhelmed that, how am I going to do it all? Because it could be overwhelming. There's a lot of data online, but just start from one. Whatever you find, start on it. Develop a bit of understanding about it. So, and then move on. Just move on to the next one. So you're able to tell the story that, if it's stored data, this is the type of insights you will see. If it's Google Analytics data, this is the type of insights you will see. For instance, Google does Google merchandise. What do they call it? Google merchandising store, which is linked into Google Analytics. But you might be able to extract the data into Power BI using the API. So the different kinds of places you can get data.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Also, I've also posted a feedback link for the participants, so maybe you guys should check it out.
Sorry, you're breaking.
Okay, so I said I posted a feedback link. This is for the participants.
Okay, for the participants. Okay.
So, Andrew has a question.
Okay, yeah. Andrew, go for it.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for a very interesting session. It just made me remember a friend of mine. She recently quit finance to become a data analyst, and she's got some certifications, and she also posts her data that she's analyzed. Maybe I saw a data on Olympics as well. I saw a data on some other things from the US, health care, as you mentioned, and she's really good and learning very fast. So she mentioned she wanted a role maybe in management consulting or something around, being a proper data analyst. But you mentioned that she can start small. What other role can she start from so that she can, get the ball rolling?
it depends on how much she's willing to drop from what she's been getting. Do you understand? So it's an individual decision. Some people are willing to take a pay cut. I wouldn't say start too low, because if you've been, for instance, if you've been like a management consultant, or you be at that level, and then just go and take data entry, it doesn't make sense. It won't add. So you try and get, basically you don't drop too much. You just drop, if you need to drop, you just drop the minimum that you need to, because basically it's like starting again. So, and the other thing is that you're looking for transferable skills, so you don't have to start from ground zero. So you're saying, have I been doing some analysis in my former role? Just like me, I said, well, I've been lecturing, but I've been doing analysis. So that's part of my story. So see what you can pull out, you can salvage from this role that you've left, because a lot of valuable life skills that she will have, and then see how she can now cross that bridge into the new field. Because it's not easy taking a pay cut, particularly if you've got a lot of responsibility. But sometimes you just need to. Sometimes you just need to bite the bullet and say, look, I've been trying to cross for about 2 years. So what do I do? The other thing that will make that transition is if there's a work experience platform where, or whether it's free work experience or paid work experience or internship, that she can just do and just just enhance what she already has and then move. So these are some of the tips.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hello.
Hello?
There are no other questions at the moment.
There are no other questions. Okay. Okay, so I hope it was helpful. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't know my mic was not on mute. Thanks. I have a question, and wow, in fact, I've been taking notes. This is like a much needed primer. When you asked our levels, like A, B, C, D, E, I think I was the only one who put C, because I'm like, I've been doing consultant work for a few years, and you are like, say, yeah, if everybody had put C, maybe you will change what you plan to deliver. I thank God that you didn't change, because I even benefited more.
Now I would have listened to you, Michael.
This is a much needed primer for me. Not even primer in terms of maybe knowing what I already, or refreshing what I already know. No, but in terms of learning things or knowing something that I never gave thought to. I'm very, very grateful. And I have a question, and the question is a bit selfish. It's a selfish one. And I also need to say, sir, since we've been doing these webinar sessions, you are one of when we started with very few people, and we are at a point towards the end, towards the middle, we got up to 40 something. It only happens when, I think it has only happened maybe once before or twice before, and it only happens when people are bringing others. They're like, by force coming, and some people I see who have joined, who, even if you look at the name, you will see it's 2 people that are using the same account, so a lot of people are finding value. That's why I'm sure they are bringing more people. We are very grateful. So to my selfish question, sir, it is like I can't remember who said. He said, if I can see far, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, and I want to see far. So I'm hoping that I can gain some insight from you in terms of how. I know you shared some tips into it, but I don't know how you are going to maybe say it. But my question is, personally for you, what approach do you take into your own? I know you are still learning. You mentioned that you too keep adding to your knowledge. What approach do you take into it? How do you go about it? How do you manage the always dilemma between more tools or more application or more? I don't know what your approach is, and I would like to hear your approach, sir.
Okay. My approach is, okay, let me tell you what I've done, and then I will distill the approach. So I started, like, I've always been very interested in data science, and data analytics. And like I said, I learned Tableau. I just went online. I got Kirill on Udemy, Kirill Remenko's course, which is fantastic on Tableau. I taught myself Tableau, got Tableau, the free version for Tableau, which is for academics, was using it on my job. And then Excel, I've always been curious. So I'm the type of person that I would, if I need to know something, I'll go online. So I'll just go on YouTube and find someone to teach me. So developing Excel, along the line, did Power BI, got certified in Power BI. Along the line, did a bit of R, learned Python, then did R, like R more than Python. So my Python is very, very basic now, very rusty. And then R. So my approach is that I find a tool for the job. So when I started on R, for instance, I was in a place where I needed to do text analysis. So I need to analyze customer reviews. So I went on to Cargo. I found on Cargo that somebody has already done analysis, and it was with R. So I just took that, amended it for what I needed to do, learned that bit, and then later on I said, no, I need to know a bit more R. So I'm not still an expert, but I learn as when I need to. Sometimes I'm just curious. I just say, you're on LinkedIn or YouTube and something flashes up, and so let me learn it. But what I found is that the brain does have a capacity. I know theoretically it doesn't have a capacity. It doesn't have a kind of maximum. But after some time, you begin to say, well, there's so many facts that if I was younger, yeah, maybe. But you begin to say, oh, you're adding all these things and you don't retain. So basically, I'll learn as I need to. So I'll learn as I need to. I'll go and I'll find a tool that I need to do the job. So that's my approach of doing it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. You can.
Okay, hello. So I didn't answer that question because already. So, Yemi, thank you for this really amazing session. Thank you. Timmy, I don't know any questions. I think I'm on.
No. Mr. Yemi, thank you very, very much for attending our section today.
Thank you, Timmy.
Yeah. Mr. Yemi.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might not know, but you've always been pushing me also. Because I can remember when I started, you're like, go get your D100.
I know you now.
So I got it. And you're like, okay, the next thing, go get your MCT. I also got it. And you're like, okay, you know what next? So thank you very, very much, sir. So it was an awesome pleasure having you now, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, so if you're still on the journey, it is possible to transition. Don't give up. Like I said, use your frustration as a driver. Just learn more. And that's what happened to me. Sometimes when I was doing it, I wake up in the middle of the night and I just put on my computer again and I begin to learn. So learn, apply. You understand? Don't stop learning. Don't stop learning, because it will all come together one day for you. And just keep on learning and develop your business savviness and develop some work experience. Sometimes you need a story. They want you to say, this is what you've done. So it's really nice meeting everyone today. I'm really glad you had me along. It's one of the things I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about data analytics. I'm also passionate about training and helping the community. So just helping people that are still on the journey to move forward. So thank you, everyone, and God bless.
Yeah, thanks. So we don't know if there are how people can connect with you. Maybe if you want us to share, I don't know, if your link or you have a foundation or company or anything, or your LinkedIn or whatever it is, we can share to people to connect more with you. And
okay, you can search for me on LinkedIn. I put the LinkedIn link on the last slide. But if you search for Yemi Akinwande on LinkedIn, you'll find me. I'm already connected to Temi. I'm connected to Fanyi. So if you're connected to them, you'll find me. But you can just search for me. I don't think we're too many.
So yeah, I've posted it on.
okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask that, can we be able to bring you again?
Oh, by all means. By all means. So by all means, I would love to come again. So, but the first time when Ifeanyi approached me and he said choose a topic, I was thinking there's a lot. I can talk about Excel, some tips and tricks on Excel, because when I develop a hack, or when I find a hack, I like to share, or Power BI. But then I said, first time I would like to talk about mindset, because just so that if there's anyone who's always into tools, more tools are good, but as you're going along with the tool, please develop your business happiness alongside. It would help. So by all means, I'm very happy to come back and talk about something else.
Well, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure meeting you. I've seen you on LinkedIn as well, so I'm going to connect with you.
Okay. Kelechi, you could add that to the feedback form, and we'll see how we can take from there. The suggestion. So I was actually you could talk about that 100 results.
Pardon?
That's 100, DA 100.
Oh, J100.
And Google Analytics.
Okay. Okay.
I think someone was writing it in the comment as they are trying to say, oh, some of the things they would like to hear you come and talk about. But I would say we should leave it to you, because you will be a better choice of, you'll be a better person at picking what you think is best for today, I guess.
Not really, Michael. So it all depends on the audience. I think I would say whatever people suggest, if I'm able to deliver, I will do. But Michael, you're in a better position to know what the platform needs. By all means, I could pick something that is totally, it could be my pet, you understand, my pet tool or whatever, where it has but it will be interesting to see what you want, and if I could help, by all means, I'd love to help. So if when people compile, if from the feedback forms, let me know if there's any burning topic that everyone would like to hear. And if I'm able to deliver it, I'll come and deliver it.
Great. Thanks a lot. I think that's what we have done now. So we've shared the feedback form link. So please, guys, put your topic suggestion. Mr. Yemi has said he's going to like to get all of them so we can send to him. So he will better now pick from what everybody is saying. We're very, very grateful. I'll let Ifeanyi do the closing remarks.
Okay. So Mr. Yemi, once again, thank you so much for accepting. And everybody, so by 6 o'clock, we also have another session on Power BI, and Neno is going to talk to us about machine learning using Power BI. So I'll see you people then by 6 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.